Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. On today's episode of me talking about stuff and things, I'm going to be going over episode 4 of Shipwrecked. Now before I continue, please check out the links in the description below. I highly recommend the series, especially the 35-day one. Now onto the episode. We are at day 13. Malu, Darrin, and Annalise. The three go searching for protein, although they do have coconuts, but unfortunately coconuts cannot sustain you for a 35-day challenge, and Malu is worried that a coconut may fall on her head, but hopefully not, luckily not. We'll see what happens. I don't think it happens, but it is a real worry out there on the Lost Coast. And the team is hoping to get some protein soon, and Darrin manages to spot a snake, and Annalise dispatches it. And he says that the snake may be poisonous, but I think what he means is venomous. And the team cooks and eats the snake as a nice snack. Shawn, Patrick, and Allison. Patrick is tired of the drama and goes fishing. Allison feels the chats with Patrick aren't constructive and that Patrick likes to belittle people. Shawn says they need Patrick's expertise to get off the island. Allison manages to find a net that could help get fish. She begins fixing it up so the holes are smaller, so it's less likely for the fish to escape. She also uses seed pods to help keep the net afloat and gathers rocks to help anchor the fish net. Allison talks about her lack of fishing experience but is determined to do her best. Patrick helps Allison set the gill net. Adam and Amanda. Adam goes fishing and Amanda goes foraging. Adam's line gets snagged, so he has to go into the water to try to get the fish, but it gets away. The two haven't had much success at getting food recently because they caught a lot of fish in the beginning, but unfortunately right now they're not really having as much success. Dani, Jamie, and Jarrell. Jamie talks about the lack of food and Jarrell wants to build a raft because he believes it'll solve their problems since they can use it to help with fishing and look for places with fruit. Jarrell convinces the other two to make a raft even though he has never built one. The group begins working on making a raft and Dani takes the lead since she has the most experience. Day 15 because we skipped day 14 and we have 20 days left on this challenge. Malu, Darrin, and Annalise. Darrin talks about how the team has a shelter and water but they still need protein. He also wants to find a way to get off the island. Darrin decides to hike to a structure seen on the map. Malu is worried he'll tire himself out looking for the structure, and while Darrin is going out hiking, Annalise and Malu sort through the coconuts to see which ones are good to eat and which aren't. The fruit trees around camp have no fruit, and so the two go exploring. Annalise then shows Malu a cemetery she found earlier in the challenge, and Malu mentions not going to a cemetery since her father passed away. Malu goes up and tidies up the cemetery and gets emotional since the place reminds her of her father. Darrin finds the spot on the map and gets some nice man-made materials to use at camp. A storm is coming and the group is worried. The team try to reinforce the roof to protect from the rain, and their shelter holds up great. Shawn, Patrick, and Allison. Shawn goes foraging for food on the sharp rocks and he manages to find 5 sea urchins for the team, and they get some much needed protein, and they also prepare for a storm that's coming, and the team gets wet and cold that night during the storm. Adam and Amanda. With water being calmer, the two go fishing. Adam is successful at spearfishing, and Amanda catches a fish with the hook and line. They notice the storm is coming and talk about how they may need to go into the jungle if the storm is really bad. With their shelter on a rock platform away from the forest, they are much more susceptible to the wind and rain. Dani, Jamie, and Jarrell. The group continues work on their raft. Dani suggests ways to keep their feet out of the water since there are jellyfish and other dangerous creatures out there, but the other two question why they need to worry about keeping their feet out of the water. Jarrell is annoyed because he thinks the raft is too heavy and he wants to go out and fish right now. The tension continues to grow between Dani and Jarrell, and Jamie says he'll try to mediate and comes up with a way to make a quick bench for them. The team complete their raft and test it out. It unfortunately begins sinking in the water and they have to go back and improve upon it so that it can float better, and the tension between Jarrell and Dani continues. And the wind is picking up and it looks like a storm is coming, so that puts a pause to the raft building, and they help reinforce their roof to help protect from the storm, but the team gets soaked that night. Day 16, Malu, Darrin, and Annalise. The team talks about the storm and how well their shelter held up. Shawn, Patrick, and Allison. The team talks about another bad storm seemingly on the way. Shawn goes to dry off his feet and talks about how they're a little swollen. He tells Patrick they're swollen, and Patrick asks if they should call a medic, and Shawn immediately says no, and I think this may be some unfortunate foreshadowing because of the preview summary for next week, and Shawn also talks about being in external pain as well. Patrick goes to check the fishnet and he manages to get a few fish from Allison's fish net, so the team are able to feast on fish, which is good because they need protein. And I also wonder what happened to Shawn's fish trap. I guess that may have gotten swept away in a current or is unusable, but hopefully they didn't need all that cordage, but who knows? We'll see. Dani, Jamie, and Jarrell. Jamie tries to get the fire going since it looks like another storm is coming. Dani goes exploring in the mangroves to try to locate a protein source for herself because she's vegetarian. Dani plans to follow a small stream north to try and find some plant resources. Jarrell and Jamie are back at the shelter as the rain begins again. Dani manages to find some coconut trees and bananas. She also finds some taro root. She continues searching and manages to find an abandoned structure, and she decides to head back to camp due to the rain, and she doesn't want to get super cold. The wood in their shelter is wet, but Jamie got the fire going, and Dani comes back to let the others know what she found. The group decide at a later time to go check the place out together. Adam and Amanda, the storm wreaked havoc on their shelter. The two decide to migrate inland and head out after gathering their stuff. The hike is exhausting, the rain gets heavier during their hike, and the episode ends with them being wet and miserable in the middle of a rainstorm in the middle of a forest. Dun dun dun. And number of days after day 16, Darrin has 131, Dani has 130, Patrick has 126, Adam has 77, Jamie has 71, Amanda has 51, Allison, Annalise, Jarrell, and Shawn have 37, and Malu has 33. And I wanted to point out that we're almost halfway through the challenge, so that'll be interesting to see what happens. And it looks like there may be some tap outs in the future. I don't know how many, but I can think of a few people who may be leaving this challenge, but I won't say who just yet. I implied one earlier in the recap, and it looks like Adam and Amanda may not be the Wes and Steven of Shipwrecked because people online are saying that they may be merging with another group, and I know at least at some point Darrin and Adam's group merge because Darrin posted a photo online of him and Adam on a raft, so maybe Adam and Amanda merge with Darrin, Annalise, and Malu. So we'll see. And episode 5, smoke signals and firefights. Spotting smoke on a distant shore, a team pushes to find another camp. The jungle trek has Amanda at her breaking point. Dani and Jarrell's clashing survival style spark a blowout fight. A survivalist is medically evacuated from the challenge. Dun dun dun. Thank you all so much for listening. Please like, comment nice things, and subscribe, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you. Bye-bye.